Dan Catania here from MealPro Test Kitchen. If you're just tuning on into us, you're really going to enjoy this one segment. Okay. Well, I'm going to start today with just one of the mother sauces, okay? And that's the Espagnole sauce or brown sauce, okay? So people may think Espagnole means Spanish, but when they created these sauces, Escoffier and Antonin Carême, way back in the times when they were putting together all these sauces, grandmother sauces, the Espagnole actually meant darker in color, dark. So that's why they named it the Espagnole sauce, because of its color, its darkness, its beef roasted flavors, and its roasted caramelization of the onions and the garlic and stuff to make it a richer, darker sauce. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some olive oil. I like using extra virgin olive oil when I just make my stocks. So you're not going to make a lot of it because you're going to just use it for like maybe roasted chicken or beef or pot roast. So that sauce is going to go for different types of dishes that you want to create. Okay, at this point, that's heating up, and then we're going to get our MealPro. You remember what a MealPro was? Because we talked about that when we did my sauces, when we did our stocks. So MealPro is carrots, onions, and celery, right? So I'm going to take the carrots, I have about 3 of them, thin carrots. I'm going to cut them in medium-sized pieces. Right, and I'm just going to add that to my little stock pot here, sauce pot. Okay. Okay, and get that cooking. And what you do is you want to caramelize them a little bit just to get some of those sugars out of your vegetables, okay? And the same thing with the celery. I'm just going to cut them in larger strips, and then medium dice or large to medium dice. So I have about 3 of them, 3 stalks of celery. You could go equal parts. I do like 3 stalks of celery, 3 medium-sized carrots, right? All right, so I'm putting the celery in there. Okay, and then the same thing, a half of an onion. You could use red onion, use white onion, you know, sweet onion, Bermuda onions. I like using the red onions too because it's nice and sweet. So I have a half of a red medium-sized onion that I'm putting in there. And that's going to go inside of my pot as well. And at this point, what I'm doing is just going to stir that around. So that's how it's going to be looking in your pot, the MealPro. It's carrots, onion, and celery, right? So you're just going to cook that off a little bit, just to brown it a touch. Get the juices to come out of the carrots and to get them a little bit caramelized where sugar content comes out. Okay, and then at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my liquid. So I'm going to add my stock, our broth, because I'm using the broth liquid to the Espagnole. So I'm going to go like maybe 3/4 of the way up with my stock. Okay, so beef broth, I mean. All right, so I'm going to just mix that around. All right, so I have that broth there. Now I'm going to fortify this Espagnole. You remember what fortify meant? I'm sure you do. Fortify means I'm going to add other ingredients to it to season it up, okay? So I have a little beef paste here. So I'm going to add just a little tip of that beef paste inside of my liquid broth, okay, and the MealPro. I'm going to close that up. And all that is just making your Espagnole sauce more rich. Okay, then I have a bouillon vegetable paste, okay? So I'm going to add just a little tip of that also in there, just to kick it up some. That's going in it. Okay, I'm going to put now a little pinch of thyme. Just a little pinch, kick it up. I'm going to add maybe about 3 or 4 bay leaf, whole bay leaf, pink, right inside. Okay, I'm just going to stir that up. Okay, so this is the making of your Espagnole sauce, okay? And then at this point, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. And I like using San Marzano. People ask, what type of tomatoes do you like to use? I like using the San Marzano tomatoes because they're a little bit less in acid, okay, and they're a little bit more sweeter than any of the other tomatoes, I find. But so I use San Marzano. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the tomato puree in my Espagnole. Turn that up, it's going up. And then what you do is just let that simmer, right? And then afterwards, what we're going to do, after it simmers, we're going to make a slurry. So you remember what a slurry is? There's different types of thickening agents for when you do sauces and soups and gravies, okay? So there's the roux, which is flour and butter. There's the slurry, which is made with flour, different starches, and liquid. And then there's, you could thicken with eggs, okay, with the whole eggs into a sauce and stuff, and it'll thicken up for you. But in this case, with this Espagnole, since it's a real smaller amount and quantity, I'm going to make it a slurry with using a little bit of red wine into the flour, rice flour. I'm using rice flour instead of all-purpose. And then I'm going to slurry this up and make it more of a pouring consistency into the sauce to thicken it. And then we're going to strain it into a bowl here to make it the Espagnole. Okay. And then a few other series, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to derive sauces from different sauces that come from the grand sauce, which is the Espagnole. Okay. So that's simmering pretty good. So I'm just going to take my wine, right? I'm going to add that right into my cup. Okay, and I'm just going to stir that up. Now what I'm creating here is a slurry. Okay, so you remember what the slurry is now? It's just liquid and flour. And in this case, I'm using rice flour. Because sometimes all-purpose flour, people have celiac, you know, and they want to be gluten-free. So I use sometimes rice flour. I'll use different styles of flour that aren't all-purpose flour that has that gluten in it. So you want to take into consideration, there's a lot of people that want to eat this classical stuff, but they're gluten-free. They want to eat gluten-free. Okay, so I'm going to turn down my heat here to the simmering, and then I'm just going to take my slurry, right, and I'm going to pour my slurry in there gradually. Stop and then let it thicken up to make the Espagnole. Looks like it's doing great. You know, Escoffier, who is the grandfather of all cooking, used to say what you need to do is keep your sauces mainly on the thinner side. And I agree with him 100%, because what he used to do, which I'm going to do here after I do this Espagnole, show you, I put it a little bit more on the thicker side, and then I finish it with some wine, okay? Wine that has not been burnt as far as like reduced down. Okay, so that is about it as far as the Espagnole goes. And you could just let this simmer for like, I'd say maybe in your sauce pot like this, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes at a real low simmer. That way all the juices of all the carrots and the onion and all the spices, they blend together real well. Okay, so at this point what I'm going to do, since it's been there, let's pretend to say it's been 30 minutes that it's simmering real slow. I'm just going to take it and I'm going to just drop it right into my strainer. Okay, come right out. Okay, and then I'm just going to hit just a little pinch of salt, sea salt, into it. So these are a lot of added little tricks that I use that other chefs may not use. Okay, so look at the consistency of this sauce. I'm going to lift it up with a little bit of the ladle here so you can see it when it pours out. So you see how that is? It's nice and smooth. And you do it through a nice strainer. Okay, and then also at this point, I'm just going to put just a little hint of fresh lemon. Just a little hint. And what does the lemon do to the sauce? It kind of balances it out. So you want to add that to it after your sauce is complete. And then if you want to put a little bit of like maybe an ounce or two of wine, you just pour a little ounce or two of wine in there. Okay, there you go, and then you have it, a beautiful Espagnole sauce. You can just take a look at that when it comes out. Look at that, the color is just absolutely beautiful. Well, that's it. You know, if you like this video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe with us to the MealPro channel.com or MealPro.com. Great recipes here. Come back next time, and we'll do another mother sauce. All right, ciao, arrivederci.